Hello, you're watching Recipe for Friendship. My name is Alevtina Madyarova. Recently, I introduced you to the culture of Serbs living in Kazakhstan. And today, following the advice of the ambassador of Serbia in Kazakhstan, Vladan Matic, we came to Gucha. This village comes to life for 4 days a year to celebrate the biggest annual festival of trumpeters. This year it has been held for the 58th time. Welcome to Serbia. Last winter in Astana, I had an interesting acquaintance with representatives of the Serbian community of Kazakhstan. Although there are not that many Serbian people living in our city, but the acquaintance with them turned out to be an interesting and memorable one. We cooked food, discussed the similarities and differences of our cultures, languages and cuisine. I have to confess, I couldn't even imagine to what this interesting meeting will eventually lead to and how we will all turn out in a couple of months. You know, there are only a handful of Serbian people living in Astana, maybe only 5 families. There are maybe few in Almaty, but that's it. There is a basketball coach, 2 doctors, and that's all. We have a small diaspora. The funniest thing is when we are asked about diaspora at home and so on. It's hard to explain that we are not that big. It is difficult to call our countries close based on the territory. However, the similarity of cultures can be noticed by everyone. Serbia and Kazakhstan can be compared in one sense that both Serbia and Kazakhstan are located at the crossroads of different cultures. In this sense, it's just not difficult for us to adjust here. Serbia is located at the intersection of Eastern culture. We were a part of the Ottoman Empire for 500 years. We are at the crossroads of the Eastern, European, Mediterranean cultures, and all this is not strange to us. That's why apparently bright, temperamental and original people of Balkan region easily adapt to life here. There are no problems in dealing with people. There are no problems in the cultural sense. Starting from music to cuisine, we don't have any problems with that. On the other hand, Kazakhstan is also located at the intersection of different cultures. The culture of cities and culture of the big steppe. Both of our countries have the opportunity to hear and adapt to different influences. So today we will immerse deeper into the details of the national Serbian costume and learn how it is made.
Costume is original and traditional, very old costume from the center part of Serbia with name Shumadija.
We will try the dishes which Kazakh Serbs taught us how to cook in their historical homeland, in natural scenery. Well, how tasty is this? Oh my God! Whoa, you guys! The smell is just amazing. Just believe me, it is very delicious. I give you my word. We will see the folk dances of the region, the basics of which can be learned in a matter of minutes, and then you can take part in a loud dance. We will listen to the music of Serbia in its most temperamental manifestation because the soul of the Serbian people is in the trumpet and the festival of brass bands. This perhaps was the most wonderful opportunity to get to know the Serbian culture in all its glory. Vladan Matic was the one who told me about the remarkable festival that takes place in the west of Serbia every year for almost 60 years. I got interested in the idea to visit this unusual festival. I went there to listen to the Serbian trumpeters live. Already on the eve of the evening of our arrival, it was clear that a small village with a population of no more than 2,000 people life went on according to a special rhythm and special schedule. Fairs, summer playgrounds with national food and of course music were everywhere. Of course, this event was surrounded with a high interest from the local press. In the morning, on the way to the opening, which starts traditionally at the monument of the trumpeter, I even managed to give a small interview to a local television channel.
Are you first time in Gucha? Yes, it's my first time, and I came especially for Gucha Festival. I knew about from Serbian ambassador in Kazakhstan.
As it turned out, Gucha never welcomed tourists from Kazakhstan, and the fact that we came specifically to learn more about the culture of the Serbs and listen to their music delighted many people. They were also delighted by the fact that Serbian people live in Kazakhstan and they get along well with the locals and create strong families with our women. Meanwhile, exactly at 11 o'clock, 3 cannon volleys were heard and the official start of the holiday of Serbian music and culture, which is called Cathedral of Trumpets, started. Many people know about Gucha. They know about it both in the United States and in Russia. And everyone always asks about the same thing. What is the secret that binds Gucha and the trumpet? And as I always say, the trumpet reveals the secret of the Serbian soul. There is nothing more valuable for the Serbian people and their culture than the trumpet. With the trumpet we fought for freedom. With the trumpet we have fun. With the trumpet we celebrate weddings and birthdays. We also feel sad with a trumpet. I have to say that we visited only the first day of the festival, where we saw local orchestras. They created the atmosphere, regional, authentic, unrestrained by the world music stage. Those musical bands that convey the spirit of the region and its soul as accurately as possible. Swelled the pipes, swished beyond the arc, for fun. Even without translation, one can guess that these words tell us that the trumpet plays only for fun, for joy, and for no other reason. The festival in Gucha takes place the 58th time in its almost 60 years old, and its main champions are marked here on this memorial board. Let's come closer and have a look. Waiting for the headliners was an enticing idea, but this is a pleasure from another category. By the way, all the world stars of Serbian folklore grew out of this ethno-festival in Gucha. Goran Dragovic, for example, was the headliner here last year. I do not know how the career of Goran Dragovic or Dejan Petrovic or other megastars of this genre began, but it is possible that this was the place they started from, because it seems that in Serbia, at least in Gucha, everyone can be a trumpeter or a drummer. However, let's go back to music. For now, I suggest that we look closer in detail at the traditional Serbian costume. The female costume of the Serbs is extremely eclectic. It experienced the influence of many cultures. In it you can see the Turkic motifs, the motifs of neighboring people and the general Slavic color. However, in different areas of the country, it may look different. Everywhere dresses are made of wool or flax. Married Serbian women decorate their heads with woolen scarves and young girls with red ribbons. In addition to the peasant dress, there was also an urban version of the female costume. But it wasn't made of wool or flax, but of cotton fabrics brought by merchants. In Serbian, it's all called a stek, and this is called a kalina or anteria. Well, it is a belt and a skirt, just like an apron. Pregach. A costume that my new acquaintance is wearing is not a replica. It's a treasure from the chest. It was handmade several decades ago. Beautiful, isn't it? Look at Danica Veselinovic. She's probably one of the most beautiful girls in Gucha, and her costume will definitely leave no one indifferent. And of course, when people were kind enough to help you in Serbia, it's worth saying the main words. Mongol Kvala. No less authentic costume we can see on Sonia. She presents folk crafts.
Costume is original and traditional, very old costume from center part of Serbia with name Šumadija.
The Šumerian costume is perhaps the most famous among the varieties of the national dress of Serbian people. In general, this country, though small, differs in regions, and other things such as clothing, cuisine and even dialects differ as well. Sonia told us about other characteristic details of national lifestyle and clothing. The Serbian footwear is made of leather and both male and female versions are very similar, to the exception of one impressive detail.
Is it traditional Serbian shoes?
Yes, it's traditional Serbian shoes with name Opanak, of pure leather and always handmade. That part is for men with that part, specially part. It's a symbol for a man and him status. For a woman is without that part, and woman can have that part, but after die her husband when she care about family, you know.
Opanak is translated from Serbian as shoes for a long journey. At the moment, these shoes are more suitable for the holidays. A tunic shirt, kashula or rubina, and pants, rahe, are the oldest elements of the man's national costume, which has survived to our days. They are sewed from different varieties of fabric. In addition to linen, there are also linen pants with a narrow shakshire or wide portulija step. Previously in Bosnia and Ovla, men wore cloth pants, pelengiri. Now it's very rare to find them, and nogavici. In general, the man's suit of Serbs is, if you will allow, a symbiosis of military status and strength with romantic motives. Judge for yourself. A national hat that looks like a military cap and trousers breeches made of protected fabric. Nothing more than military-style details. But it is complemented by shirts with beautiful embroidery and soft woolen boots that are also decorated with embroidery with floral motifs. As you can see here, weaving, embroidery, working with leather and wool, all this is typical for so many people whose life is connected with the mountains.
That's a specific ornament, and with the symbolic means, favorite that with name turtle, you know, with symbolic mean. That was rug for a present. Yes. If I make that rug for you for a present, I wish for you a long life as a turtle, you know.
An ornament that, after the explanations of a knowledgeable person, stopped being a mystery and turned out to be a turtle, is found both in decorating dwellings and in the embroideries of bags and pockets, but most of all on carpets.
That's a traditional machine for make. Yes. Do you want to see?
I met quite a lot of people here that repeatedly reminded me about familiar to us Eastern culture. For example, look at the embroidery with silver and gold stitching on velvet. You have to agree that, in an instant, you can recognize Kazakh, Bukhara and Crimean motifs. It is suitable to go out to wedding, to holidays. The technique of embroidery with a twisted cord on the velvet indeed is very similar to the work of Crimean embroiderers. Art is traditional and typical for the southern part of Serbia and Kosovo. The influence of the Ottoman Empire is quite obvious here, don't you think? Pay attention to this kaftan. It took about 8 months to make it because it's not embroidery but an ornament made of stitching. The stitching is also handmade, and all this was done by our new friend. Back in Almaty, our Serbian acquaintance was to great extent devoted to the cuisine and culinary traditions. The Balkans is a big mixture of cultures. In fact, we have a lot of dishes that came from Turkey. But there are also many influences from Czech Republic, Greece, Germany and Hungary. Well, of course, in Kazakhstan, Dejan prefers to use local Kazakh products for cooking. When I make a Viennese schnitzel here, I make it out of horse meat. So the Viennese schnitzel from horse meat is already made in Kazakhstan. We did not forget about dessert. Apples stuffed with filling from prunes, nuts, honey, jam and currants turned out to be just fantastic. And as you can see, it's all natural. Here we'll get a lot of vitamin C because the currant is full of vitamin C. Good dry plum. And apples, which in the winter is the best fruit around. Dejan even published a book devoted to the migration of gastronomic traditions, their commonality and peculiarities in the Balkan and Turkic countries. Here in Gucci, I witnessed the mixture of culture that I was talking about with my own eyes. For example, traditional Balkan soup is called just chorba. And kebabs in the Balkans are cooked better than anywhere on the planet, are called cevapcici. Pleskavica deserves special attention. The name sounds deceptive. It is nothing but a patty cooked on a grill which is served in a bun or pita bread with a serving of different side dishes according to your taste. Vegetables, sauces and spices. This street food is very popular, and given the size of portions, we can draw conclusions why the average height in Serbia is 185 centimeters. When it comes to the culture of a particular people, it goes without saying that one cannot even say about its cuisine. Now we are seeing in all its glory this Serbian cuisine. So here we are, the festival in Guča, and this is an opportunity among other things to try the wedding cabbage without being at the wedding. Because here, if you look around in these clay vats, people cook it all around. Well, how tasty is this? Oh my god! Wow, you guys! The smell is just amazing. Just believe me, it's very delicious. I give you my word. The wedding cabbage is cooked for long hours in special clay pots. The mix can contain other vegetables besides cabbage, but cabbage here is still the main ingredient. After a few hours of lengo, the dish becomes tender and the different chefs cook it in a different way. I've tried so many varieties of cabbage during a few days of stay in Serbia that I can probably call myself an expert. It is also important to remember that the Serbs, like probably all mountain people, are meat eaters. And I feel it's time to change the microphone to a shovel. Here we see the true friendship of people. For lovers of pork meat, there is pork, and for lovers of lamb meat, there is a meat of lamb. Meat and milk, the traditional food of the mountaineers on any continent. Among dairy products, the local favorite is a delicate yogurt, dense in consistency like processed cheese. And the name of it again will sound familiar to you, kaymak. And what is noteworthy, almost all of this can be prepared in our conditions. Just remember what kind of dastarkan we set with our Kazakh Serbs. However, food is not the only thing that interests us. Since I was fortunate enough to witness the Festival of Serbian Folklore in all its glory, let me say a few words about these Serbian folk dances. Perhaps the most famous folklore dance is the kolo. The name speaks for itself because in translation it's a wheel or a circle, just a few chords of music, and people get together for a dance, and you can watch this magic even today. There are dozens of regional varieties of kolo dance, and its more complex versions can be seen on stage performed by the professional dancers. If you decide to feel part of the spontaneous dance, nothing is easier. Join the circle and repeat the movements of the neighbors. Pleasure is guaranteed. Well, I could not, of course, leave Serbia without talking to musicians. Orchestra band of Dejan Lazarevic are local stars. They play both folk music and their original songs, and something tells me that they have far-reaching plans. Big greetings to Kazakhstan from Guča and from the whole Guča. I'm Dejan Lazarevic, and my orchestra, we are participants of the Trumpeters Festival, which you can see everywhere. I play since childhood. My father played music and he taught me, well, everyone around played music. Music is my nature, nothing special. For 4 days a year, Guča lives in this crazy dance rhythm and endless brass polyphony. It's slightly after midnight, and if you think that the Serbian madness named Guča Festival ends here, then you are very much mistaken. Because all this fun will last for 4 days, and tomorrow morning at exactly 7 o'clock, from the monument of the trumpeter, where everything started today, starts a parade which will wake the whole town, and everything will start all over again. In the morning, exactly at 7 o'clock in the days of the festival, the town hears 3 cannon volleys, and the so-called orchestra rise takes place. All orchestras gather by the monument to the trumpeter in the early morning to wake everyone and start a new day. And leaving Serbia, I want to thank our Kazakh representatives of this remarkable ethnic group for advice and idea. Mongo hvala! The acquaintance with Serbia and the Serbian culture was unforgettable. Well, the recipe for friendship continues its acquaintance with the peculiarities of the culture, holidays and traditions of the numerous people living in Kazakhstan. See you soon.